What's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and I have 3 player props for tonight. So I have an NFL prop for Thursday Night Football, I have an NHL prop, and I have an NBA prop. I think you're really going to like them all, so I'm going to share them with you. And again, I say this all the time, but, through the losing streaks, through the winning streaks, all I'm showing you is things I bet on, right? When I'm following a mathematical, sharp sports betting strategy, looking for value, some days I'll have plays on Underdog Fantasy. Some days I'll have a lot of plays on Underdog. Other days I may have none, right? Some days I may have more NBA bets. Other days, none. I follow the value, right? You're like an investor when you're a sharp sports bettor. You're following the value. You're following the market. There's millions of odds across sports books. If you look at Underdog Fantasy, right? If you just take a quick look through this website, there's limitless stuff you can bet on. Limitless. Most of these picks are not profitable. So what OddsJam does is it points out to you those few rare plays that are mathematically profitable. So for example, one of the plays I locked in, this doesn't relate to my play on Underdog Fantasy, but is over 23.5 points in Indiana, Michigan State. I bet it at minus 104 odds. You can see right here, if you look in the corner, it just moved down to minus 122. Why did it move? Because we found a great bet, right? We found a play with value, and we hit it, and then the line moved. So this is a market. That's another thing you need to understand. Sometimes plays I give out, people will comment, yo, WTF, the play went away. I can't control what the bookmakers do. I'm finding sharp picks. So if the bookmaker moves the line, they move the line. This play was incredible. So I locked it in for the max I could, right? Minus 104 odds, 311.90. We got this value bet. Indiana, Michigan State, first half total, over 23.5. We bet this at minus 104. No other bookies better than minus 124. So that's how you think about sports betting. You look for value, and there's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat, as I like to say. And what this positive EV betting tool does for you, so if you look at this tool, make your first positive EV bet, all this tool does is it scans the market and shows you plays that are big line discrepancies, right? It shows you plays with value, enough value to beat the vig, beat the juice, and have a profitable bet. So this is an example of one I locked in, right? Minus 104, no other bookie better than minus 124. We're clearly beating the vig. That's a play we want to be on. So on Underdog Fantasy, it works a bit different because this platform, you can't just bet on one person. It's parlays only. So for any 3-leg parlay, you're betting 1 to win 6. So we've gone through the math kind of a ton of times, but the implied odds on Underdog Fantasy, the implied price is minus 122. So when you're placing bets on Underdog, you should essentially assume that you're betting at minus 122 odds if you're placing a 3-pick entry or a 5-pick entry, right? On Prize Picks, 5-pick flexes are minus 119 implied odds. They also recently added, I believe, 6-pick flexes, which are roughly the same. So 6-pick, 5-pick, both are roughly minus 119 implied odds. So the first play I went with, which you also could have taken in a Prize Picks 5-pick flex, is Austin Hooper. You can see I'm just filtering for Underdog Fantasy as I do this video, and I just bet this. Austin Hooper under 2.5 receptions. So this play has a 5.61% profit margin, right? And we bet this at minus 122 odds. No other bookie is better than minus 130. What you're going to notice is most sports books, FanDuel has this minus 148, DraftKings minus 170, BetOnline minus 156. So all these bookmakers, you should treat them, as data points of where the line should be set. These sports books have really sophisticated models. A lot of them are multi-billion-dollar companies. They're taking millions of dollars of bets at the minimum, tens of millions on a daily basis. They're efficient betting markets, kind of similar to a stock exchange. People buy a stock, the price goes up. It's a fair market. So what you can do is you can use these bookmakers' odds against each other. Because they all want to set lines independently, you hunt through the odds and look for value. So this is a play I love. Austin Hooper, under 2.5 receptions. We have very high confidence that we're getting value at minus 122 since all the sports books, especially the sharp books like BetOnline, have this, minus 155 to minus 170. And there's some variation from book to book. Again, every sports book sets lines independently. Caesars, obviously, they're more aggressive, more bullish on the under than FanDuel is. FanDuel's more bullish than PointsBet. So we use all this info in the market to be like, okay, yeah, we definitely want to be on this at minus 122 implied odds. This looks great in an underdog entry. right? If you have questions about this, you can comment below. Another thing I say always is you should be tracking your bets. OddsJam recently added this company called Sharp Sports, which will pull your bets from a sports book. So you can see Massachusetts Minutemen, we bet them plus 215. That bet actually cashed. We had ODU Virginia Tech under 132. So if we go back here, that bet lost. So what this software will do is you can see right here is it will grade your bets as wins or losses. So here are all my bets from WinBet. I just kept depositing money and hammering the Bucks and the Pelicans yesterday as lines were ripping towards them. And this is very valuable for one reason and one reason only. When you're placing sharp bets, you need to track your profit and loss over a really large sample size, right? I'm not talking about 5 bets. I'm talking about 5,000. If you have the edge, that doesn't mean every bet wins. In fact, when you're betting on Underdog Fantasy, these 3-pick entries, you're betting 1 to win 5 in profit, 6 total, right? So you only need to win 1 in 6 to break even. So some people will look and they'll be like, you lose sometimes. You lose more often than you win. And it's yeah, I do lose more often than I win, but we're betting, again, at plus 5,000, at plus 500 odds. So we're betting at very juicy odds. So regardless, it's useful because you will go through, losing streaks as a sharp bettor. And it's just helpful, right, to track your profit and loss over a large sample size so you can see if you're on the right track or not, right? So even if you don't use OddsJam, that's fine. Our bet tracker's free. I totally recommend sync at least a few sportsbooks. You can't link them all, but you can see here, BetMGM, Barstool, Caesars, FoxBet, Borgata, WinBet, PointsBet down for maintenance, but these are the ones available in New Jersey. And you can sync your books and just see your profit and loss. And it's just fact, right? It pulls it directly from your sportsbook accounts. So it's useful. The next play I ended up going with is right here. So we're switching to NHL. So sure, the profit margin is lower on this play, but hey, we need 3 picks, and this one's incredible. So Kyle Connor over 3.5 shots on goal. All of the bookies have the over heavily favored. You can also get this on Prize Picks. So I hit that, and then we have KD over 1.5 threes. Once again, tons of value. All the sportsbooks pricing this, you have really high confidence. They're all pricing this at minus 145. You're getting minus 122. And again, it really is slow and steady wins the race. I say that a lot too. But a lot of people look at a 3% profit margin and they think, why even bet on sports? 3%, that's it. You had 3%, so you just made 3% times 311.90, right? 3% profit margin, 311.90 stake means my bet has 942 in profit margin. A lot of people look at that and they're like, who cares? But the way you should think about it is this is a 3% profit margin in 2 days. This game is in 2 days. It's going to be over. So 3% in 2 days means 45% return in a month if you did it every day. So as a sharp bettor, I started out betting with a $5, $10 a bet. But when you're getting 3% profit margins on plays and consistently beating the VIG, you can grow your bankroll very quickly, very substantially to where you're betting tens of thousands of dollars, every night and making substantial amounts of money. You just have to understand the concepts and how these returns compound. You're investing. This is sports investing. This isn't sports betting. It's a little different, right? This isn't freaking handicapping with some square on the internet who doesn't even have a picture of himself and says he knows how to bet on sports. This isn't looking at sportsbook promos to make $4 extra. This is freaking straight up sports betting to make the big bucks. So anyways, hopefully this was helpful. Let's make money.